Late day sun bleeds gold across that battlefield of bone. Dust hanging thick like breath from all the ghosts you own. A torn up vandalized face down in the dirt, still with blood and rain. Clawed heavy as your guilt, stitched with every fight you never claimed. Camera cuts close, your boots sinking cracked red soil. Hands still shaking from old sins you never learned to spoil. You whisper, you ain't mine no more, but that flag don't twitch, don't rise, just lies there like a closed door. So you bend, fingers trembling as you grab that ragged end. Live slow, live scared like you're touching the ghost of a dead friend. But the flag stays limp, cold refusing your command, like it's judging you for every time you bow to any man. A bloodstained banner won't rise for the frightened, won't move for a heart hiding behind its pain. Glory ain't gifted to the silent, it walks with the ones who dare to grip their name. And your grip, then gripping is how you reign. If the wind wakes only when you stand through hell and flame. You ain't begging the world for place, you're taking back your claim. Flash cut memory, a woman with wildfire hair, leaning in real close, her voice soft like sin saying, baby kneel, that's how power grows. You listen, you drop, you let your spine break slow. Made deals with devils wearing sheriff scars, thinking they let you go. Then a preacher washed your hands in a tin bowl full of rust, said, son, surrender pride, the tide will rise with dust. But dirt don't lie, it remembers every coward's breath, and every time you knelt for love, you learned a little dead. Now the scene cuts back, you stand alone in the windless heat. Sun smearing orange across your shoulder, shadows pooling at your feet. You snarl, grab the banner pole, knuckles white with grit. Grow, rise or I rise alone, but something's gonna quit. Breath sharp, you pull the cloth up tight, jaw locked like I am ready to fight. And when you shall stand up through teeth and dust, the world shifts, the sky cracks, the wind wakes like it trusts. That bloodstained banner leaps wild for the risen, snaps hard like a wolf breaking chains in the sun. It ain't loyal to the meek or the prison, it belongs to the one who refuses to run. If the fallen rise in your grip, then gripping is how you reign. If memory moves only for your fire, then fire is your domain. You ain't praying to be chosen, you're choosing your own pain. And when that banner snaps forward, pointing down the road ahead, you hear your own voice whisper back, colder than the dead. If the world only rises when I do, then rises how I reign.
Sunset's dying light leaking through that busted tower roof. Dust floating like tires, spirits checking if I'm still true. Old stone floor, sweats cold, smells like rain and burned up vows. Saints on broken glass, watch me like they're raising crooked brows. The rusted bill hangs heavy, neck cracked from years of war. Iron throat locked, silent like it's scared of speaking more. My boots scrape through the rubble, each step echo thin and small. Feels like every sin I hit is climbing down that wall. I lay my hand on rotten wood, whisper, y'all remember me. My voice shakes like a guilty gun, ain't proud of what I used to be. So I drop to both knees, breath sharp like a sawed-off clip. Hands clasped tight, words stumble out thick as tar and no regret. But that dead bell stays quiet, no tremble, no sway, no sign. Guess heaven don't hear men crawling, only those who draw a line. That rusted bell don't ring for the kneeling, don't move for a man begging just to ease his shame. Sacred things don't stir for the yielding, they wait on the one standing up through the flame. If sacred iron moves for my rising, rising's my birthright. If the dead only watch when I stand, I'll stand and face the night. I ain't trading my knees for mercy, I'll earn my place in the fight. I see her shadow flicker, that wild girl with the wildfire eyes. Last time she held my chin, she said, bending love won't die. But bending broke my backbone, let me sway in like a rope, chained to every dirty promise, drowning in her holy smoke. I knelt for crooked sheriffs, knelt for cash and whiskey sins. Let preachers wash my trigger hand, like that could clean the man within. Now I'm standing in this tower, rope burned bit into my fist, blood dripping off my knuckles like a back row preacher's kiss. I snarl up at the rafters, if you got them, prove you're here. Damn me on my feet if you want, but I ain't bowing out of fear. So I plant my boots, solid spine, climbing high like fire. Let stained glass paint my chest red like a half-forgotten choir. And the moment I rise steady, cut loose from guilt and hell, a cold wind groans through the tower, then the world shakes with that bell. That rusted bell rolls loud for the rising, screams strong like a war cry breaking through stone sky. Sounds like that kid calling, advising, like a shouting, boy, don't crawl, you were born to stand high. If sacred iron moves for my rising, rising's my birthright. If the saints only turn when I stand, I'll stand against this fight. I ain't your clean damn hero, I'm the sinner that still stands right, with wild love burning hot in my ribs and a soul that won't kneel to the night. And as the bell shakes dust like ashes falling into my eyes, I grin through pain and rust, whispering cold but alive. If the world only rings when I rise, then hell or heaven I rise. Midnight hallway, stone walls sweating cold, old lantern flickering, dying like a tired soul. Dust floating sideways, wind humming like a hymn gone wrong. I drag my boots inside the dark, feel it size me up head to toe. I mutter, I'm worn, I'm damn near hollow. Echo don't answer, Even shadow don't wanna follow.
I tell you, one step, flame die, like the dark one's proof before it lets me survive. My hand on the wall, breath sharp as a blade, and I tell that cold stone, I ain't stepping aside in the land of thrills back up, like it hurt my blood rise, like rolling up the walls, following the fight in my eyes. If darkness tests my step, then stepping's what I do. If the night wants a reason I live, I'll give it one more move.
Farther in, I see pews broken, Bible pages burned in dust. An old prayer bench split open like it lost all faith in us. But there's something in me growling, something older than my sin.
I hear a voice behind me, maybe God, maybe ghost, maybe just a part of me I never learned to listen to.
Keep walking, boy, none of this ends with you crawling. I clench my jaw, swallow every fear I never named, and the lantern light stretches forward, almost like it knows where I'm aimed.
Dark getting thicker, but my breath getting bigger. My shadow on the wall, finally standing with me instead of behind. I say I'm done running from the places that birthed me,
and the whole damn hall shivers like it hurt my spine. Harden, 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 harden. In that dying land it turned blazes, bright enough to wake up at. Light crawls down the hallway like it's bowing to where I tread.
if darkness tests my step, then stepping is my spark.
If the night demands a fearless man, I'll raise my flame in the dark.
Let the shadows circle tighter, they can try to take their mark, but I ain't made to follow light.
I'm the fire inside the dark. Slips thin across an open stretch of dirt and stone. Your shadow twists small behind you, shivering like it stands alone. Every time you breathe it trembles, bent and broken at the knees, looking more like a runaway ghost than the outlaw you used to be. Camera angle low, your boots drag slow through dust kicked up from half-lived days. Your chest tied with a dozen sins you never learned to face. You mutter, don't do this now. But when you turn from the moon, that shadow curls in tighter, shrinking somehow. You wipe sweat from your jaw, ritual of men scared of their truth. Every scar across your ribs hums hot, reminding you of wasted youth. You step back from the light, and the dark around you folds like the past crawling up your spine, cold-hearted taking hold. A crooked shadow won't rise.
for the hiding. Won't grow for a man scared of his own side. Darkness don't leave those denying. It walks with the soul who steps into the light. If your shadow rises with your courage, then courage is your twin tonight. If the world stands straight or when you stand, the standing's how you fight. You don't outrun fear by moving, you break it by standing upright. Flashback cuts that woman with wildfire eyes pressing her forehead to yours. She whispered you only look small cause you keep shutting your own damn doors. Her hand traced her scars slow, saying they ain't ruins, they're roads you crossed. But you turned away, too scared she'd see the wars you already lost. Cut to now, moon climbs higher, painting silver on your chest. Dust dances like ghosts of choices you never lay to rest. You grab the old cross on your necklace, a right carve from pain and need. Let it drag across your sternum, whispering one last creed. You snarl to the sky, you want the truth, and I walk your way. And the ground hums low like the world ain't sure what you'll say. You lift your chin, spine locking, straight like a rifle sight. Breath burning deep, glare fixed dead ahead into the light. Each step forward cracks the dark like old bark peeling from a tree. And your shadow twitches like it's waking up, breathing finally free. Your shadow shoots tall for the fearless, stretching long like a brother born from flame. It don't guard the weak or the tearless, it stands for the one who finally says his name. If your shadow rises with your courage, then courage is your twin reclaim. If the night steps back when you step in, and step in is how you're framed. You ain't begging the light to save you, you're meeting it unashamed. And as that shadow towers beside you, fierce like a soldier carved from night, you whisper through the glow, calm, raw, sharp and right. If the world only grows when I rise, then rising's my birthright. Then rising's my
Out on the forest edge, dust crawls cold across a burned out ground. Charred roots twist like dead fingers, reaching for one last sound. In the center lies a mound of gray, cold ashes stiff as stone. No smoke, no glow, just silence, holding all the ghosts he used to own. Camera pans, he steps slow, boots sinking in old fire scars. Breath fogs thin in the air, drifting around the memories carved in his arms. And kneels, whispers, I'm here, same place you faded last. But when he lifts the ash, it slips right through, like time moving too fast. His fingers shake with something raw, regret or rage, he can't quite tell. Dust clings to his skin like a curse he never learned to dispel. He closes his fist, but the ash still falls like it refuses the man he became. Like it's waiting for truth, not sorrow, before it remembers his name. Cold ashes won't rise for the morning, won't move for slams him. A woman laughing wild in a room lit red. She said, if you forget me, cowboy, you'll forget the parts of you I fed. Then the flames took all the cabin. Her shadow that sin-soaked nights left him alive with scorch marks carved deep where love once held tight. Cut back, he rises slow, eyes shut tight against the cold. Breath shakes dust off old wounds, he never let himself unfold. He grabs a handful of soil, a ritual carved from sorrow's creed. Lets it mix with the ash, whispering, I remember everything you needed. The wind shifts hard backwards, unnatural, like some buried vow just woke in the ash, stirs faint, like a whisper climbing through smoke. He stands steady, hands open, scars lit by a sideways sun, chest tight like a loaded truth. He's finally done outrunning, and with one long breath, he speaks a name, raw, bare, unmasked. The ash lifts slow like it's answering a question he finally asked. And them ashes whirl up wild for the fearless, circle around him like a storm, remembering flame. They don't dance for the weak or the tearless. They rise for the man who stands by every name. If ashes rise for his memory, then memory is his fire claimed. If the past steps forward when he stands, then standing's how he's framed. He ain't begging for closure, he's owning what pain became. And as the ashes twist upward, glowing like ghosts set free in air,
He whispers sparkling dust, quiet carved aware. If the world only breathes when I recall, then recalling is my prayer.
Light slants through a busted cabin roof, dust spinning like tired ghosts. A wooden table split in half from storms and all the sins I host. Right there an hourglass sits crooked, sand down to his dying grain. Bottom full like a coffin packed with minutes lost to pain. Camera close up, my hand hovers, fingers twitch like a man half gone. Shadows stretch long on the floor, judgment crawling in with dawn. I whisper, not yet, don't end me yet. But the sand keeps falling cold and steady like face setting the dead. I press my palm on that hourglass heart, breath fogging on his glassy skin. But time don't answer, begging don't stop for anyone wearing thin. Every grain hits the bottom like a verdict I ain't ready to meet. And the room grows tight like time itself wants me on my knees in defeat. A falling hour don't pause for the trembling, don't shift for a man scared to claim his track. Time ain't merciful or gentle, it only bends for the ones who push it back. If time shifts for my stance, and stance is the clock I keep. If the world ticks different when I rise, and rising's how I speak. You don't earn a second chance kneeling, you earn it standing deep. Oh! Flashback, a woman once told me under a storm black sky, said you waste your years on running, you'll die long before you die. Her hand traced the scar on my throat, smiling like she read my crime. Said a man scared time. Cut forward, I tighten my jaw, drop a bead of blood on that frame. A ritual I learned from outlaws who carve their vows with flame. Crimson streaks down the glass, slow mixing with dust I failed to face, and the sand hesitates, just a heartbeat like it's weighing out my place. I growl, I ain't done. You hear me, I ain't done. The walls shiver, a silent warning bows beneath my rising sun. I curl my fingers round the wood, spine stiff as a loaded gun. Lift my head slow, breath dragging fire like I swallowed the sun. Then I roar, not yet! Every syllable cut from bone and grit, and the sand stumbles, then stops like the universe holding its breath a bit. That hourglass shudders hard for the chosen. Sand climbs upward like a river running wrong. Time don't honor the meek or the broken. It rises for the soul that refuses to belong. Time shifts for my stance, then stance is my forged in fire line. If tomorrow opens when I rise, then rising's how I define. I ain't begging hours to save me, these hours are damn well mine. And as the last grain climbs back upward, glimmering like a spark unkilled, I whisper through the crooked cabin air, steady, sharp, unyielded. If the world only rewrites when I stand, then standing's how I build. Whoa. Gray dawn crawls slow across a graveyard stunk in dust and rust. Headstones lean like tired giants, judging bones they used to trust. One stone tilts toward me heavy, shadow crossing my chest like blame. My boots sink in dry cracked dirt, ground whispering my name. Camera cuts, I stand alone, breath in like I'm halfway gone. Fingers trace are carved out, cross code as the sins I build upon. I mutter, maybe this is where I stop, and the stone sinks lower like death leaning in for the drop. My knees start to fold without asking, like they know the final fall, and the world feels real damn small, like it's ready to take it all. Shadows tighten round my boots, breath fogged in the morning air, and even the dirt feels hungry, like it's dragging at my despair. A gravestone won't move for the dying, won't shift for the man ready to disappear. Death don't bargain with the crying, it steps in close when your will ain't clear. If the grave steps back from my will, then will is my breath tonight. If the world only widens when I rise, then rises my birthright. You don't cheat death by begging, you cheated standing upright. Chest back, her hand on my jaw, saying living ain't a gift, it's a fight. Then she walked into the storm alone, swallowing herself in night. I chased a shadow for years, losing bits of me in the chase. Left my blood on bar floors, left my soul in the wrong woman's grace. Cut to now, I drop a handful of dirt, ritual of the lost and blamed. It hits the stone with a hollow thud, sounding like my father's name. I growl, not yet, not today. My and the earth exhales, pushing back that leaning stone. That gravestone drifts back for the living, slides slow like it knows I ain't done yet. It don't bow for the scared or forgiving, it bows for the soul that refuses regret. If the grave steps back from my will, then will is the breath I claim. If the dawn cracks open when I rise, then rising is my flame. I ain't running from dying, I'm choosing my damn name. And as that stone settles upright, leaving space for my next step to start, I whisper through the thought with an echo calm, cut from spine and heart. If the world only lets me live when I rise, then rising's my only art. Dry wind crawls across an empty battlefield of dust and dried up blood. Broken spears like crooked crosses standing in a sunburnt flood. Right there, a sword stuck deep in sand, dead still like it forgot its name. Steel dull as a buried sin, cold as a preacher's blame. Camera zooms, I step closer, boots grinding grit like bones. My shadow stretches long across old scars and broken stones. I grab the hill, whisper, come on, old friend. But the blade stays mute, cold-hearted, silent to the end. I pull again, knuckles wide, breath sharp like iron in my throat. But still don't answer, begging, don't move for a man without a vow to quote. Wind whistles like a warning ghost, circling around my doubt, as if the whole damn world's asking if I'm in or bowing out. A silent sword won't sing for the running, won't rise for a man scared to take his place. Still don't bet for the shunning, it wakes for the soul ready to face its fate. If steel sings for my oath, then oath is my blade tonight. If the fight only breathes when I stand, then standing is my right. You don't learn weapons whispering, you earn them when you fight. The church half burned by sin said a blade don't choose a coward, it chooses the man who steps back in. Then she traced the scar upon my ribs, smiling like she knew my fear. Said you love the war but hate the mirror, that's why I still won't hear. Cut to now, the sky turns red like judgment leaning close. Dust swirls tied around my boots like it's wrapping me in those. I slice a line across my palm, a ritual I ain't proud to keep. Let blood drip down the hill, those carved from the wounds I never let sleep. I'm running through grit, I'm done running. If you're mine, then wake. The ground hums back like destiny, testing what I'm willing to break. I plant both feet, spine straight like a drawn out line of fire. Let breath burn through my chest like a long forgotten choir. Then I nod once, clean, steady, ready for the war ahead. And the steel trembles like it heard every word I never said. That silence death. If the world only owns me when I rise, then rising is my wrath. Cold steam crawls up the bathroom wall, making the whole damn room feel haunted. Mirror fog thick like it's hiding all the truths you never wanted. Water drips slow from your jaw, trailing down scars you try to forget. Your breath hits the glass, it shivers once, then swallows your silhouette. Camera close up, your handshake faint on the porcelain sink. The kind of tremble that comes from sins you live with too long to rethink. You mutter, clear up, just once. But the more you work, the more the mirror smears like it knows what you've done. You press your thumb to a burn mark on your ribs, a ritual you've learned. Hope and pain wake something honest, but the fog still won't turn. Shadows behind you move like doubts you ain't outrun. And the mirror grows darker like it's refusing what you become. A clouded mirror won't clear for the hiding, won't shine for a man scared to name his age. Truth don't rise with the fighting, it comes when you quit running from what you break. If clarity comes when you face pain, then pain is your mirror mate. If the world only sharpens when you stand, then standing's how you're saved. You don't earn sight by flinching, you earn it standing unafraid. Oh. Flashback, her fingers trace the scar across your spine. She whispered, scars don't lie, baby, they're the parts that stayed mine. You turned away, too scared her eyes would see what you can't bear. So you let silence split you thin, left both your souls half there. Cut back, the mirror's darker now, breathing heavy like a beast. Your pulse bangs loud in your ears like a sermon from a crooked priest. You spread your hands wide on the glass, bare arms, bare scars exposing the cold. Snap sharp against your skin like it finally knows. You growl, look at me, all of me. The mirror shakes like truth just heard its name and disagreed. The steam retreats slow, crawling back into cracks of the frame, like it respects the man who ain't hiding from his own damn name. Breathe deep and spineless, fear burns out like old smoke, and the room goes quiet, like the world knew this moment before you spoke. That mirror clears clean for the fearless, shines harsh like a blade baptized in light. It don't honor the weak or the tearless, it honors the soul that steps toward its own fight. If clarity comes when you face pain, then pain is your mirror bright. If the truth bows open when you rise, and rising is your right. You ain't begging for redemption, you're claiming your own sight. And as your reflection firms up, eyes steady, scars burning proud and plain, you whisper to the room, cold, raw, and sharp as earned rain. If the world only shows me when I stand, then standing's how I remain.
Sunset bleeds thin across a dead flat stretch of sand and bone. He goes shimmering over tracks I carved all on my own. My old war horse lies crooked, ribs showing through dust and sweat. Eyes half shut like he's dreaming of a place I ain't reached yet. Camera pans, I drop to my knees, hand on his neck on cold. Whisper, come on boy, not now, voice cracking like a story told. The wind don't answer mercy, the sand don't answer prayer, and he don't twitch, don't breathe, just sinks heavier in the air. I rub blood from an old cut across his jaw, a warrior's right. Like maybe the smell of fighting days was stirring back to life tonight. But the earth stays still and every shadow feels like it's leaning in, testing if I'll beg the world or face it with the weight of sin. A dead horse won't rise, for the bleeding won't move, for a man scared to lose his way. Loyalty don't follow the needing, it trails the footsteps, walking on anyway. If loyalty wakes behind my steps and steps are my command, if the bond only breathes when I move and let it stand. I ain't asking for nothing, I'll walk, 'cause walking's what I am. Flashback hits hard, a woman smiling cruel beneath the churchyard tree. She said, you love anything too long, it learns to bury thee. Then she kissed my ribs like a blade, laughed at the way I stayed, left both of us in ruins, me walking her ghost, never truly strayed. Back to the sand I rise slow, shoulders burn like kerosene. Feel the road pull at my boots, whispering where the truth begins. I grip his reins once, then drop him, a ritual of letting go. Say if I die out here, old friend, at least you ain't dying slow. I turn my back, breath sharp, dust clinging to my spine. Each step a vow, if fate won't lift me, hell, I'll make the climb. Sand shift the air behind me, hums like a throat releasing pain, like the world exhaling fire through the cracks of something slain. Then a faint sound cuts the wind, soft crack, barely alive, but sharp enough to chase the ghosts out of every mile. I've survived. My dead horse gives a low ragged when he lifts his head, like he heard my vow through dust. He ain't following pity or any charity in me, he's following steps forged in grit and I trust. If loyalty wakes behind my steps, then steps are my command. If the bomb comes alive when I rise, then rising is where I stand. I ain't begging the road for mercy, the road obeys my hand. And as he staggers up slow, shadows stretching long like fate, I whisper through the burning air, steady as a closing gate. If the world only follows when I move, then moving's how I create. trenches stretch empty, broken timber, rusted shells. Wind drags old gunpowder ghosts across the dirt like half-told spells. Three jagged pieces of a shield lie scattered in the dried up clay. Metal cracked like a bad promise, cold as sins he tried to lay away. Camera cuts, he stands alone, boots planted in a field of scars. Shirt torn open at the ribs where a wild love left its marks. He mutters, hell, you're all I got left. But them pieces just slide off each other, stubborn as regret. He crouches low, tries to fit the edges tight. One slips left, one drops right, metal refusing to unite. His breath turns sharp like he's swallowing dust and old mistakes. And the wind around him hums like every vow he tried to break. A shattered shield won't rise for the weakened, won't mend for a man scared to face his pain. Defense don't answer the pleading. It leads to the soul that refuses to wane. If defense answers his will, then will is his armor cast. If the steel only listens when he stands, he'll stand until the last. You don't earn safety by laying low. You earn it standing fast. Flashback, a preacher once held that shield, said, son, protect your name. But he tossed it down in a barroom fight, running from his own flame. A woman with wildfire hair hissed, you break what's meant to God. Then carved a memory in his chest, laughing, leaving him carved and scarred. Now, back in the trench, dust storms crawl like beasts across the ground. Thunder cracks behind the hills, nature barking like a hound. He grabs those pieces tight enough to draw a line of blood. Let crimson drip along the cracks like a ritual in the mud. He growls through teeth, I ain't dead yet, you hear me? And even the barren earth seems to lean in, waiting to see. He lifts the shots, fist on heart, breath out like a brand, spine straight as a rifle line, so braced to make a stand. Then with a roar rip raw from the graves inside his chest, he crushes all three pieces tight, refusing to settle for less. That broken shield snaps back for the risen. It just feels like molten truth pulled into form. It don't guard the lost or the prison. It guards a man walking headfirst through the storm. If the fence answers his will, then will is the steel he bears. If protection awakens when he fights, he'll fight till the world stands. He ain't begging for cover, he's building a shield he wears. And as the metal locks solid, gleaming with a cold new shine, he whispers to the war-torn wind, the vow cut, leaning divine. If the world only guards when I stand, then standing is how I survive.
air crawls through the stone wall tunnel, biting down my spine. Dust swirl like old regrets, shadows moving in a crooked line. A dead torch lies there soaked in frost, stiff like a forgotten oath. Black and claw wrapped round a shaft like the throat of something broke. Pushes in, my boots scrape slow across that ancient floor. Echoes whisper back my name, the name I ain't said in years or more. I kneel, thumb a flintstone mutter, come on, give me a spark. But the fire stays dead, cold-hearted blindness sit in the dark. I strike again and again, fingers shakier than I wanna say. Sparks jump, fall fade like they're tired of hearing me pray. A voice inside me growls, you ain't fooling fire with fear. And the tunnel seems to breathe, leaning close as if to hear. A dead torch won't burn for the brick and won't rise for a man running from his own name. Light don't answer the shaking, it wakes for the soul that refuses its shame. If I wakes to my voice, then voice is my flame. If darkness only folds when I speak who I became, I won't whisper myself smaller, I'll burn loud, unashamed. Flashback, her laugh cut sharp like whiskey poured on open wound. She held my jaw tight once, said say your name or stay entombed. I choked on all the sins tied to it, the blood, the dirt, the deal. So I let silence eat me whole, like that made any of it less real. Now back in this tunnel, cold breath, stone walls, bones of old crusades, marks of men who lost themselves, scratch across the barricades. I sliced my palm with my old knife, a ritual as old as pain. Let one drop fall on the torch like signing my truth again. I glare into the darkest now, you want my truth, fine, here it stands. My voice bounces off the stone like a judge laying down commands. I lift the torch, fist tight, breath steaming like a vow in air. Feel the world leaning around me, watching if I'll truly dare. Then I speak my name clean, no tremor, no excuse, no shame. And every shadow in the tunnel flinches when it hears the claim. That torch erupts, wild for the honest flame leaps high like a long lost crown return. It don't bow for the scared or the modest. It answers the soul that admits what it burned. If I wake to my voice, then voice is my flame. If the dark breaks open when I call out my name, I ain't hiding from the ashes, I'm the one who walked through them aflame. And as the tunnel fills with gold light, walls glow like judgment eyes. I breathe deep, feel heat, claim my scars, and say with a calm that cuts the night, if the world only lights when I speak, then speaking is how I ride. The sunlight lies in the crawls across the canyon, pass ahead. Long shadows stretched like warnings carved by hands of all my dead. A giant stone guardian blocks the trail, face worn smooth with age, looking half like a sleeping god, half like a judge who hates my page. Camera pans low, my boots grind gravel, breath dragging in my side. Sweat rolls down a scar that never healed from where I used to hide. I murder movies, hey, I just need through. But stone don't answer weakness, stone stares straight through you. I edge along his flame slow, shoulder brush and ancient dust. Foot slips, ground crumbles at giant shifts. It's like it's waking up to judge. Every muscle in my spine screams run, but running feels like lying. And stone was built to crush a man who ain't done trying. A stone gutters you won't move for the timid, won't shit for a soul trying to slip past shame. Truth don't bow for the livid, it stands where you stand, calling out your name. If stone respects my truth, then truth is my weapon back. If the gate only opens when I face what I once feared, then hell or heaven fall aside. I walk through unimpaired. Flash of memory, her voice soft as smoke by the riverside. She whispered you run from every fight, even though one's inside. She touched the scar across my ribs, the one carved when I ran. Said your sins ain't shadows, baby, they walk like any man. Cut back to now, that stone giant looms, dust falling like slow rain. Every crack along his chest looks like my guilt carved in the grain. I press a blood-wet thumb to my necklace, cross a quiet old ritual, then growl at the statue. If your God speak true, stay damn still. Stone groans deep like mountains shifting under prayer. A breath of grit spills over me, cold as truth I used to feel. I plant both spines straight as a rifle line, raise my chin like I ain't running from any ghost of mine. One breath, one stare, one vow against the dust, and then in a whole canyon holds his breath, waiting to see if I stand or bend. That stone guardian shifts wide for the fearless, slides back like an ancient gate, hearing truth ring clear. It don't honor saints or the tearless, it honors the man who confronts what he holds dear. If stone respects my truth, then truth is the blade I bring. If the path comes alive when I rise, then rising is my thing. I ain't looking for pardon, I'm facing what made me stink. And as the giant steps aside, leaving a trail washed clean of doubt, I whisper through the canyon wind, steady, sharp, devout. If the world only shifts when I do, then truth is how I went out. Dawn barely breathing over the buzzard cattle road. Rust chains curl around his ankle, light as a joke life told. He limped past a dead corral, boots dragging sand and sin. When whispering old stories about the man he used to be back then. He muttered, ain't
ain't nothing holding me. But even the dust didn't believe him enough to live. He turned his back, ready to bolt, 9-bit deep like he knew his fault. Chain clank sharp, a verdict, not a sound, passing, janking him straight to the ground. But when he stood still, breath shaking like a storm, those broken links loosened, metal sighing in the morn. If change, fear is stillness, then stillness is a strain. If running wakes the ghost, he'll face them at arm's length. Retreat. He lifted his head toward the chapel rooms ahead, cross leaning sideways like even faith was tired of begging for bread. Wind kicked embers from yesterday's sins, and he heard a voice, maybe memory, maybe something meaner. Keep running, boy, try me again. He froze, chest tight as barbed wire, eyes locked on the dirt that once held his blood instead of running. He clenched his jaw and the chain slacking like it finally understood. He said, "Lo, I'm done being dragged by the man I was." When went silent, even the desert paused. Metal shifted like truth recognizing truth. And when he stood firm, unloosened at his heel, links hanging quiet, like they'd learned what men could feel. If change, fear is stillness, then standing's how he fights. If the past comes snarling, he'll meet it with his spine. Let the world test his breath, he's got nothing left but grit. A man who won't run anymore ain't a man you break or split. He moves when he chooses, not when ghosts give the command. He ain't running from his story, he's taking it by the hand.